Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a short little knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Kizer Renissance. Now, Kizer calls these button liner locks, which is definitely selling it short, because after taking these newer ones apart, these newer but typically we'd call this a button-operated top liner lock because of the way that it engages with the lock face. But after taking one of these newer ones apart, I found that it actually engages both with the lock face on the blade and a flat spot on the stop pin, or you could say that it compresses itself between the stop pin and the lock face. So very, very similar to a Spyderco compression lock. At the moment, I believe Kizer is one of, if not the only company who's actually doing this, which is really cool because the locking system is that much more secure. When they put it on a budget knife, which this absolutely is, it just makes it that much better. This is going to be a pretty straightforward review. There's not a lot of complexity to this knife, not that there needs to be, but it's a straightforward good knife. I can tell you right now, I'm going to end up recommending it. So I'll have it linked down in the description. You guys can check it out if you want. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. Okay, let's go ahead and get a measurement here. Overall length is coming in at about 7 1/4. Blade length is about 3 1/8. Cutting edge is about 3 inches. We'll do some size comparisons here. Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others. So up against my own Excalibur, both the full size and the compact, it's much closer to the size of the compact, with this one being about 7 1/2 inches. Let's put it up against the Spyderco PM2, almost dropped it there, and the Para 3, the one in my pocket today. It is exactly the same overall length as the Para 3, it's just a totally different shape. And then finally, we'll put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, and the Hogue Deca. How is the action? I love Kizer's little half moon button here. I think it's great. The detent allows you to deploy the blade in a very snappy and satisfying way. You can also use this fuller here to pretty much reverse flick it wherever you want. In fact, I know that I can. Hold on, let me get it. I believe that I can literally reverse flick this with my pinky. I did it on. I almost got it, but my index finger blocked it with the thumb stud there. But you can pretty much get wherever you want to. It's not an incredibly deep groove, and there's also not a lot of grab. But if you get that finger right in the right place, about right in the middle of it, you can reverse flick it pretty comfortably, honestly. So you can also just use it to two-hand open it. Just like a normal person. If you want to. Very, very easy and very safe to manipulate, given that your fingers are not in the path of the blade while you're opening it or closing it. Very, very cool. Plenty of tension on the lock bar. Easy release when you want to, and it's not going to disengage when you do not want it to. These new Kizer... Whoops, I hit the phone there. These new Kizer, basically Kizer's version of the compression lock. I think legally they still can't call it that. But they're really, really great locking systems. I like them a lot. So very good. Bearing action is also awesome. I think you can see right here. Really nice. Let's do carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's actually slightly thinner. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. This is a very, very easy knife to carry. Very compact, very lightweight. Nothing to complain about there. We are looking at N690. We're looking at some steel internals. And in this case, micarta. They also have another version of micarta. This is like Grandpa's Couch micarta. And then we also have Richlite, which... There are sections of the knife world that are really trying to sell that as a special material. You could argue that the reason that they're doing that is because they managed to sell us G10 and micarta as special materials, and we just accept an upcharge on them versus like basic, GRN or FRN or all of that injection mold plastic stuff. Maybe so. There is absolutely nothing special about Richlite. It is a basic budget material no better or worse than a lot of the same materials we find in this territory, right? But for some reason, we see it combined with certain steels as if it's like, ooh, it's special. I think it's not so much special, it's just a material we don't see as much. It works just fine as a knife handle material, but you have that option for what should be a smaller price tag, but isn't. The weight on this guy, I'm going to guess this weighs just over 3. It weighs just under 3. So ultra lightweight and wonderful ratios with a balance that's right about there, which is fine. People, I should mention this more often. Because everybody talks about, like, oh, Metal Complex is a stickler for balance, and his own knife is balanced, like, further back, than what he considers to be optimal. It is. And I'm taking the opportunity in this random Kizer review to talk about this. I do the balance section. Like, if you go back and watch every single one of my reviews, the section is like, there's not me going, this knife is good or this knife is bad. It's more like, here's the balance if you care, right? Now, I don't want the balance back here, but anywhere from like here to here, like this whole area is fine. But it's much like many other sections of my review, all of my reviews. There are certain things that I'm extremely opinionated on and other things that I'm not very opinionated on, and I just include a section because people want to see it. Like plunge grinds. I don't really care too much, but a lot of people do, so I show it, right? Balance, in my opinion, is something that can help make a knife that is heavy not feel quite as heavy. And in a lot of situations, balance can, really improve the overall experience of the knife. But as far as my own personal preferences go when it comes to balance, there's a wide range. There's a wide range for something that realistically will not affect the vast majority of people very much. It is a preference to have something perfectly balanced or have the balance sit in a certain area, and it is overall more beneficial to the knife and to the user when the balance is as close to the pivot as possible. But this, I think we can all agree, is a pretty minor thing. We actually wanted the scales on, this and Excalibur Mini or the compact Excalibur. We wanted them a little more robust, much like the knives that I literally designed the knife after. The knives that inspired my own knife are kind of chunky. The XM18, the Strider, the Demco, yeah, I kind of like that feeling. But everybody's feelings on balance and where it should be and what is, what results in a negative experience or a less than pleasant experience, right? That's all fine, right? This section for balance is not like you've probably never seen a review from me where I go, well, it's a deal breaker because of the balance. No knife that's ever been reviewed on my channel has ever been like, I got to pass on this one because the balance is so bad. Never happened. So there you go. But for those of you who care, the balance on this one, pretty good. I like it a lot. Let's go ahead and do the hardware check. I'll get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use in this channel. We have T8, I think, across the board. Yeah, even with the pocket clip screws, 2 on this side as well. Very simple construction. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's measure the blade stock thickness and we can get into it. Probably pretty thin. 107 thousandths. Okay. Meat and potatoes time. Kind of a classic looking profile, but just like brought up to, like modern, material and lock standards. This knife comes in the higher end of budget, is utilizing Grandpa's Couch micarta, which is fine. And then this sort of PVD blackwash looking N690 blade. N690 is okay. It's a steel that's not cheap, but it doesn't do anything special in the performance areas. It belongs in the same performance realm as VG10 and 154CM. I just find the balance of, like 154CM, for example, I think is just a superior steel. So I kind of wish that they had done that, but I think 154 actually costs even more. So N690 is a little awkward. The best thing about it is absurdly stainless. So the edge retention's like you can look up the actual like number grading on this on Laren Thomas's website where he grades steel. The toughness is all right. It's very, very easy to touch up, and it's insanely stainless. It's not the worst choice for a pocket knife steel. It just unfortunately pushes the price of the knife up into an area that just makes people go, I wish it was something else, you know? But okay, it's fine. The ergonomic lines of this knife are very, very good. The jimping is nice. The edges are nicely knocked down and chamfered. There's a little bit of a warning zone here before you run your finger up on the blade, but not much, so you need to, pay attention to that. The button, like I said, is awesome. Deploying the knife is awesome. Very easy. You can use the button to reverse flick it. Overall, the ergonomic experience with this knife, it's like pretty much second nature to deploy this knife, grip it, use it to cut, and then move on with your day. There's much more tool here than there is anything else. It's much more tool than it is flashy object, but there's a little bit of personality here with, the purple button and the purple thumb stud. It's fine. Blade shape, very classic. We have, I don't know if you guys want to call this, it's basically like just an elongated sheep's foot blade, but extremely utilitarian for sure. And the cutting geometry is also pretty nice. Now, I have absolutely no idea how Kizer is heat treating N690. N690, I don't think requires like an ultra specific HRC range, and it obviously doesn't need to be very hard to do what it was designed to do, which was, actually the original application for N690 obviously is not a pocket knife steel, but on a pocket knife, I think it's just kind of like general, use it as a pocket knife. It's not going to win any awards in any particular category and doesn't require an absolutely outrageously hard HRC, but at the same time, we still do want to see it within its optimal range, which, to be honest, I don't know what that is, but we have Taylor down there providing data and ranges for different things, and you can probably look, I think Laren Thomas actually has data on N690 and where it should be. I feel like it's probably pretty similar to a lot of other steels. It's probably 60 to 62, something like that, maybe 59, 61. That's what I would guess. This performs just as mediocre as every other N690 blade that I've ever experienced, so I don't know if Kizer is hitting it high or low or spot on. It's kind of hard to tell because it doesn't really feel like it's special. But okay, right? Again, not the worst choice. The aesthetic of this is very plain. It's very straightforward. It's fine. We're getting to a point now where, and I did call for this. I said I really want more, button operated top liner locks, or in this case, Kizer's essentially their compression locks. So we need more of these. We need the market flooded with them because they're safer and more efficient and they're more reliable, et cetera, et cetera. And we're getting to that point, and that's fine. So I'm okay with this looking boring. I mean, that's kind of mean, right? Looking kind of standard, not really standoutish. It's nice that we have yet another option with this locking system. We still don't have anywhere near enough for people going, oh, it's another boring profile. Well, the profile is one thing. We need about 1 billion more of these. We need as many of these as we have crossbar locks and standard plunge locks, because these are better than both. Absolutely. So I say bring it on. If it's a super basic profile, fine. Bring it on for sure. Ambidextrous mounting positions for the pocket clip, which is good. Right or left-handed people. Left-handed people, you'll have a slightly different experience given that you're going to be operating the button with your index finger. You need to be careful when you're choking up. Squeezing it can disengage it if you are left-handed. If you're right-handed, it's unlikely. Just make sure that your index finger does not land on top of the button while you are hammer gripping it. Locked out, there's no blade play up, down, left, or right. You can see right there the stop pin is just sort of running into that back ramped part of the blade. I don't know if we can actually see exactly where it's contacting. It looks flat, so no shouldering or anything like that, which is fine. There's no pivot lash. The action is nice and smooth. The detent is really nice. Right there, it's a nice thing about a button-operated top liner lock is you actually have a detent ball. And then your closed position stop is actually, I think it's actually somewhat close. Let's see here. So it is not, oh no, I'm wrong. It's way back here. Yep. These little bumps right here, the jimping area, but that is also, it's what's connecting with this, not this. Yeah, it's back here. This deal, this little bar right here, that's what's connected to the button to push the lock over. but that's not actually stopping the blade. And even if it was, it actually looks like it's quite away from the plunge grind. The reason that I questioned if that was the case is because there's no mark. It would be back here. So we don't really have anything to worry about there. Is it centered? Yeah, it is. All right. $69 giggity. Price is a little high. I wish that the steel was a little different, but at the end of the day, this is another good option with Kizer's. Legitimately, I don't know if there is a difference between this and the compression lock from Spyderco. I don't know what it is. I think this is great. If they had used like Nitro V and charged us $60, I think I would have been really blown away. But it's $10 more and it's N690. This is another good option. It's probably not going to, blow anybody away. It's not going to be the knife that people kick down doors for, but it's a good option. If you pick this up, this is a safe bet, and it's probably one of the better choices still because of the locking system. It's one of the better choices that you can make under $75, which is budget territory. So this is going to go in my recommended knives playlist. It's also going to go in my cheap knives I like playlist because it's under $75. This is a winner. Nice work. That's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.